So today we're going to talk about color, and I'm going to be referencing this book called Color Me Beautiful. Maybe you guys recognize it if you're about my age or maybe a little older. I remember when this book first came out in the 80s, it was kind of something a lot of people talked about because it uses the seasons to categorize what colors look best on your complexion or with your skin tone. And so it was kind of a way to reference what colors looked good on you. So you might hear people say, oh, I'm a winter, or oh, are you a spring? And that just refers to the colors that look good on your skin tone. I thought about this book a lot as I've worked in fashion and retail, and it's been a really good guide for me throughout the years, and I thought I would find it, and luckily Amazon was selling them, so I grabbed a copy and have been looking over it. So I want to help you try to figure out what colors look best on you according to your skin tone. So let's get started. Even though this is an old book, it's a really great reference, but try not to be distracted by the fashions of the time back then. They're pretty great. So first we're going to talk about summers. And the summer colors tend to be soft colors, and your skin would generally have a blue undertone to them. So like in this picture, you can tell that they have pretty fair skin. So when it comes to eye color for the summers, they'll have blue or aqua eyes generally, and they sometimes have that cool eye color where it's kind of a blue-gray, but depending on what they're wearing, it will change to more of a green. So you're lucky if you have that eye color. That's pretty cool. And then another eye characteristic of the summers is that you have a deep blue eye color, but with flecks of yellow in your eyes. So that's pretty cool too. And then some people with this coloring have hazel eyes or kind of a rosy brown color. For hair color, it tends to be kind of an ash blonde or medium brown to light brunette, so kind of in that category. And then with skin, they tend to have rosy pink skin tone or more of a translucent fair skinned people are generally summers. So if you think of the Nicole Kidmans of the world, where they kind of have that translucent skin with blue undertone, they tend to do best wearing soft colors. And when it comes to a neutral, soft white is a better option than ivory. And then a pink blue, for example, would be better than a coral pink. So you can see some of these color options. Don't feel like, oh, my favorite color is not on this paper, so I can't wear it. But think of it more as options for intensity and brightness, because if you really want to wear a yellow shirt, chances are we can find you a yellow shirt, for example. The next one I wanted to talk about was the autumn or fall. So autumns tend to have more brunette coloring in their hair. Red highlights or golden brown hair, golden highlights, darker blondes and brunettes, and also vivid reds and carrot tops tend to be autumns. Eye color tends to be dark golden brown or golden green, avocado, hazel, or even bright turquoise when it comes to people with red hair. They can be in the autumn category. When you think of autumn, the category of autumn with skin tone, it's more like peaches or cream. So ivory skin tone, peaches skin tone, and they have golden undertones in their skin. So if you look at the picture, if the pictures don't mind the styles, they're pretty awesome. You can see that they have more of a golden undertone in their skin, and they do really well with more of the you know, traditional autumn colors like the brick reds and the orange reds and things like that. So their color spectrum is quite a bit different than the summer one that we previously talked about. Okay, on to spring. The spring palette, that tends to be clear and delicate colors, and they can also wear some brights. Their eye color, again, this is pretty fluid. I mean, it's not like, oh, you have that eye color and that hair color, therefore you must look perfect in this color green. It doesn't really work like that, but this is just a guide that has been really helpful for a lot of people, and I think it's held the test of time. So they can have blue eyes, aqua eyes, with gray in them, and just kind of lighter colors. And then they have the rosy pink skin, freckled skin, and sometimes they are very fair-skinned. Their hair color tends to be ash blonde, medium brown, or light brunette as well, similar to the summers. And then let's look at this here. Spring also, a lot of people who are springs do have the ivory complexion, and they also were generally blonde as children, and then it darkened with age. Flaxen blondes are also in the spring category, and blue eyes are generally here, or they can be in any category, but there's definitely a lot of blue eyes in the spring category. So they also have peachy skin tone and yellow undertones in their skin. So that's the spring. And when it comes to spring, they will want to stay with, they can do clear colors, warm colors, and some delicate and some bright colors. So this is the spring palette in general. And then the last one is winter. So if you look at me, I am more of a winter. I have an olive complexion. And the winters can wear vivid, clear, icy colors, and they have blue undertones in their skin. So they can have blue eyes or brown eyes, green eyes, gray eyes, or hazel eyes. This category is a lot of people. Probably the biggest category when you look at the general population. When it comes to hair color, brown hair, and usually it's lighter when you're younger, and then it gets darker with age. And they also say that winters tend to gray nicely. So after their hair turns gray, their complexion still looks good, and it doesn't really fade their skin out, if that makes sense. And then with skin tone, they can have pink skin tone, deep rose beige skin tone, and olive skin tone. So also black people and Asian people tend to be in this category. Some examples of good colors for winters include blue reds and not orange reds. They tend to sallow in warm colors. So sallow is kind of an older word for your face looks pale, or it doesn't look, it tends to look lighter under certain colors. And then true orange is probably not your friend if you're a winter. So let me go ahead and share some examples of these with you. I know I've given you a lot of information, but before I forget, I'll show you quickly the palette of the winters in the book here, with some sweet bangs going on, but this is kind of the color palette for winters. So you can see there, pure white is the neutral there, and they also can wear black, and everyone can wear black. That's totally fine. But in this circumstance, they're not recommending all skin tones to wear black as much. tends to wash people out a little bit. Okay, so let me give you some examples. I'm going to turn my camera a little bit so I'm using natural light. If you want to do this at home, I recommend you doing it in front of a window so that you can see your actual skin well under natural light. I would not recommend you doing it with fluorescent light or in a dressing room. Of course, if you did it in a dressing room, like, you know, hey, I'm not sure about this green shirt or this green shirt, it's not a big deal. But to get the best color, natural color, I would recommend using a nice bright window. Today is kind of gray outside, so we're gonna do our best. So let me show you, the first example is in red. So this red has blue undertones to it. And so as a winter, this is a better color for me than an orange red. Unfortunately, this is the most orangey red I could find at home here. And as you can see, it doesn't quite look as good with my skin tone. Color's kind of weird today on the camera, but it kind of tends to pull out the redness in my skin, if you can tell that. I have some rosacea on my cheeks here, and so you can see it's kind of red. It's also reflecting on the window, so it looks worse than it is. So between these two, a winter would do much better in a blue tone, a blue undertone in a red, as opposed to an orangey or red. Now I'm going to show you the orange. So here's a bright orange, and here's a a cooler orange. So it has the bluer undertones to it. I used to wear this color a lot in high school because this was one of my colors in high school. So I went to many football games wearing this color, and it washed me out like crazy. So I knew from a long time ago that this was not a color for a winter, but I'm able to get away with this color a little bit better because it tends to not wash me out as much. So green. Here's a light green. I feel like this pulls out the yellow in my skin and kind of draws out the under eye circles that I have. So this isn't something I would choose to put next to my neck or next to my face as much. Whereas, again, this has a blue undertone, this green, kind of army color, kind of bluish green, makes my skin look a little bit better, I think. So those are some examples of ways that you can really tell what colors look best on you. In fact, if you walked into your closet right now or looked at your closet, you would probably be able to figure out what season you were based on the colors you've bought, because you looked good in them and so you bought them, maybe not realizing, oh man, that color is so good on my complexion, but because you put it on, you said, oh, this looks good. There are definitely clothes that I've bought throughout the years that haven't looked great with my skin tone, and I don't wear those clothes as much. So I'm trying to save you money here. Anyway, I think this is a fun idea. It might help you to branch out a little bit when it comes to color, and it might help you look at a color and say, well, that's not my favorite, but try it on anyway and see if you're happy about it and happy with the way it brightens up your skin. This is definitely something that can translate into makeup as well. As you can tell, I'm wearing a darker berry lipstick right now, but if you saw me put on a coral lipstick, it would not be great for me. So I tend to use this tool that I've gained with this book to also look at makeup colors for lipstick and eyeshadow and stuff like that. So that's kind of a fun thing to play around with too, and blush as well. So I hope you found this interesting, and we'll talk fashion later. Have a good one.